things stand like stone. Kindness in another's trouble, courage in your own. I lead from the heart, not the head. And albeit that's got me into trouble in my work, I understand that. But someone's got to go out there and love people and show it. I'd like to be a queen of people's hearts, but I don't see myself being queen of this country.
Memories in words and images of a remarkable life. We're now waiting for the moment when the coffin of Diana, Princess of Wales, is brought out from Kensington Palace to begin its journey to Westminster Abbey, the formal start of this day of remembrance. To describe the procession, let's now join our colleagues John Suchet and Nicholas Owen.
Kensington Palace. At the gates there, hundreds and thousands of bouquets. Crystal clear or early autumn morning, the sun warming the streets. It was a chilly night, and the weather forecast is good. The dry weather will hold. The gates to Kensington Palace, through which in a few moments' time the gun carriage will pass, bearing the coffin of the Princess of Wales. Crowds have been lining these streets for several days and swarmed across it indeed last night as the hearse brought the coffin into the palace, back to the princess's London home. The palace courtyard, through the gates, the palace staff waiting the princess to emerge. And we see the lead horses now bringing the gun carriage. Soldiers of the King's Troop Royal Horse Artillery bringing the gun carriage. The crowds have fallen totally silent, eyes fixed on the gates, and silence will mark this procession. No military bands, no music, no shouts of command. Silence. Temporarily hidden from our view, the police that will lead the procession, waiting there for it to emerge. Police are lining the route, facing inwards. If this were a state funeral, it would be soldiers facing outwards. But it's very unlikely the police will have any order to keep today. The gun carriage leaves the London home of the Princess of Wales. Now we can see why the coffin was hidden from view. It was to place the bouquets on top. There are 3 there, from Earl Spencer, the princess's brother, and from her 2 sons, Prince William and Prince Harry. The bouquet from Prince Charles will be added when the coffin reaches Westminster Abbey. And in a moment, as it passes through the gates, the crowds will get their first close-up view of the coffin. And it will slowly turn to the left and begin its final journey. Just the sound of horses' hooves.
Part of the world where you often get hitchhikers trying to get a lift before the M1 begins. None of them today. There are no crowds here. The police have kept people off this particular stretch. I presume we're actually on motorway now. But this bit has been, oh yes, there's the familiar blue signs that tell us all, we all know them, you're on a motorway.
And we'll stay with the Princess until she disappears from our view onto the M1 motorway and north to Althorpe House in Northamptonshire. A brief stop to clear the flowers off. Yes, they had to do that. Obviously, it looks covered in flowers. You can't go on a motorway with your car covered in flowers, whatever your car is. So a brief stop. Leave the flowers on the hard shoulder, and no doubt they'll remain.
Those men on the left-hand side, motorway workers, I bet they didn't expect this. Flowers off from the Princess's funeral, in a way, in front of them, and the little procession moves off again, up the M1 towards the final resting place in Northamptonshire.
And that'll be our final view of Princess Diana as she leaves North London for the journey north. For the moment, our final view.
Well, we're in their hands now. Hello. You going off? All right. I shouldn't be carrying on.
And we're back outside Buckingham Palace, where the crowds will not disperse. Climbing on the railings by the looks of it. Looking at the flowers, reading some of the messages. My goodness me, look at those flowers. I think a great sense of relief that it passed so well this morning. It went so well. As I said earlier, exactly the tribute that she deserved.
Lots of smiles in the crowd now. After
Yes.
all the tears and sadness, there's a bit of smile, a bit of relief. That's so often the case at the end of a funeral, isn't it? Let's be honest about it. There is that relief. The grieving process requires the formality of a funeral. Now people beginning to relax, beginning, I suppose, the process of really believing that the princess has died. Flowers, that's Buckingham Palace, the flowers on the railings, the flowers the Queen herself looked at yesterday for the first time.
Westminster Abbey again. The bells still tolling. Richard Branson. And there's that wonderfully spruced up Great West door, gleaming clean.
The weather so perfect, if you can use that word in connection with a funeral. Forecast of possible showers this afternoon, but it remained as sunny as possible. It could possibly have been. What a day for those crowds. We will all remember this day, of course we will, but for those who are actually on the streets of London, what memories they're going to have.
Hyde Park, where the giant screens were, where the service was followed by thousands more than were able to hear it either in the Abbey or in the streets around it. And still not dispersing, as I said earlier, probably friendships made. And for the moment, we'll leave the crowds of London in the centre of the city and in the north of the city, and we'll join the Princess later on in her journey as she nears Althorpe House in Northamptonshire. But for the moment, back to Trevor McDonald.